Hey everybody, I'm back. Tony Viz here. Here I am recapping Impact. Overall, I thought the show was really good. I thought there were some good to solid matches. There were a lot of good matches on the show, actually. I gotta say, the Aces and Eights angle is actually one of the more intriguing storylines that the TNA's got going for me. I mean, because it's got the mask, and it's got the little aura of mystery to it, so we don't know who the guys are. So I'm actually liking this. It's like how it's kind of like a new NWO in a way, but in a way it's kind of being done. I think it's being done better because it's like you don't know who the guys are, just like the NWO back in the day. I mean, it's like you didn't know what was going to happen. They could attack any time, and that's what they're doing here. It's like the guys could attack any time, and it's, and attacked any time they did last night. So with that out of the way, it's and it was open fight night this week. It was the Bound for Glory series open fight night special or whatever. So everyone from the Bound for Glory series called each other out. I guess we'll get right into the recap. The show actually began with recapping the attacks on Hulk Hogan and Sting from the Ace and Eights faction, and then they go to Tenay and Taz. I think they were doing, they were talking about everything that happened. They show a picture of Hulk Hogan in a hospital bed. And I know, like I said, the reason they did the attack with Hogan last week was because he had he underwent legit back surgery, and from what I heard, that went well. So, so they showed a pic of Hogan in the hospital bed or whatever. Then Mike Tenay says that Hogan and Sting, aren't in the impact zone for the show tonight. So we got no one running the show. So anarchy rules. Still ECW pay-per-view title. Then they show the Bound for Glory scoreboard, the stats. At this point, James Storm is back in the lead. I guess he won a match at a house show or something. I'm not sure. I don't really follow the house shows that much. So at this point, James Storm is back in the lead. And then the arena show part of the show started. James Storm came out, and he said he wanted to address a few things. He mentions Austin Aries being the new champion. He congratulates him on winning the world title. He says that he's back in first place at the Bound for Glory series, and he says that he hasn't forgotten about Bobby Roode, and he's saying that he wants to kick the living crap out of him. And then he talks about the Aces and Eights crew. Storm pretty much says that this isn't the Wild Wild West. It's not like Bonanza or whatever. I forget it now. But he says it's not the Wild West, because if it were, James Storm says that he'd be sheriff. So that's Sheriff Storm. So then Storm, then he sends a quick get well shout out to Hulk Hogan, and then Storm says that for the Bound for Glory series tonight, he's going to call out Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle's music hits, doesn't come out. And then wondering what's going on. His music plays again. No Kurt. Then Storm tells the cameraman to go backstage and find him. Then they show the camera guy going backstage, and they cut back to Storm and the referee waiting in the ring. And then cut to backstage, and Kurt Angle has been laid out by the Aces and Eights stable. As soon as Kurt Angle didn't come out, as soon as his music played and he didn't come out, I knew that it was going to be that he was going to be their latest victim. But I thought it was a good segment. Storm cut a good promo, and just like having the Aces and Eights guys just attacking everybody at random or whatever is actually I'm finding it to be a little intriguing. So that was that segment. It was pretty good. So Storm and Angle did not wrestle on the show tonight. Then Samoa Joe came out, and he says that there isn't a man alive that would call him out, so he figured he'd pick a fight for himself, and he calls out the Pope so that he can make him tap. So then we get Samoa Joe versus the Pope in the Bound for Glory series match. Joe gets the 10 points with a submission win. Solid match. I don't know what they're doing with the Pope. He hasn't really been on much. Samoa Joe, hopefully they'll start pushing him back up the ladder again. Then we go to one of these earlier in the day segments. Some dude asks if Bobby Roode has anything to do with the Aces and Eights guys. Roode says that he's got other stuff to worry about, And then the guy brings up Austin Aries, and Rude says that he'll show that Aries winning the title from him at Destination X was a fluke. So then we get Jeff Hardy coming to the ring, and he says that he has someone in mind that he wants to call out. Before we can say who that is, Robbie E's music hits. He shows up with Rob Terry, and Robbie says that everyone in the Bound for Glory series has been ducking him. So tonight he's calling out Jeff Hardy, and there's nothing that Jeff can do about it. Whatever. So we get Jeff Hardy versus Robbie E. Rob Terry does. I guess he goes after Jeff Hardy or whatever. I forget. So then he distracted Jeff, and then Jeff went after Rob Terry, and he got counted out. So Robbie E wins by count out to get 5 points in the series. And this is okay, but short. And then throughout the streaming online, they just had Robbie kept saying, he was like, I beat Jeff Hardy, I'm on the scoreboard, so that was alright. So then they show the next gut check contestant backstage. The guy's name is Sam Shaw. They just showed him backstage, and then ODB is like outside the arena or wherever on her cell phone with talking to Eric Young, who's standing there right behind her. She asks him where he's been. He talks about getting his own show on Animal Planet or whatever. ODB says we're at the beginning of fried chicken, and that was pretty much it. It was your typical Eric Young ODB comedy segment. Then they recap the direct of Crackhead Claire and AJ being the dad. Then they invisible cameraman asks Kazarian Daniels backstage that he goes to them backstage. Kazarian Daniels backstage, and Daniels says that what he finds surprising is that it's like with all the evidence against AJ, AJ is being the self-righteous guy refusing to admit to his screw-ups, and then Kazarian just threw a few lines. I think he said something like, it's like if Claire brings some proof, maybe that'll do something. I don't really get that. The team has been good, but this storyline has really sucked so bad. I mean, I just wish the guy that ended, because it just makes no sense. And it gets even stupider as we go along here. So then we go to JB in the ring, bringing out gut check. Sorry for that. Contestant Sam Shaw. Shaw says he wanted to be a pro wrestler his whole life, and he's finally getting a chance to show the fans why he should be on the Impact roster. And then JB says that there's got to be something that separates him from other gut check contestants. And before anything else can happen, out come the Aces and 8 guys, and they attack Shaw. And JB runs like hell out of there. And then in the streaming, it was like, if it wasn't for Brian Hebner, I would have gotten my face punched in too, or whatever. I gotta say, I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting these guys to come out during the segment, so that was a little surprising. So it did give you that feeling of it's like these guys can attack anywhere, not just necessarily with main event guys. They can just come in at any time. So they get back from the break, and then it's like there's during the break they were streaming Al Snow and Taz were in the ring checking up on Shaw, and then they come back to the show and Al Snow and the referees and whatever were helping Sam Shaw to the back, and they were actually showing them walking, helping Shaw walk to the back. I thought he was going to get attacked again, but no, it didn't happen. Nothing happened. So then Ken Anderson comes out, and he said that at the last Open Fight night, he called out the douche Christopher Daniels. The fans cheer when they mention his name. He asks why they're cheering him. And he says this time he call out a guy he respects, someone he sees as a friend and a brother, that being AJ Styles. So we get AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle. This was great. This was a really great back and forth match. They did a lot of stuff here. Ken Anderson had a cravat locked in. I think AJ tried to slam his way out of it, and rolled through. Anderson rolled through and got it back in, and there was a lot of countering and everything, and a lot of good back and forth stuff. I mean, if you haven't seen this, I suggest you should check this match out. It was really good. So Ken Anderson got the pin, so he's got 7 more points in the BFG series. So after the great match AJ Styles has with Ken Anderson, Crackhead Claire comes out screaming at AJ. She says she's been calling him all week, and then she says that if he won't return her calls, they'll talk about what happened that night right here in public in front of all the fans. So then Claire says that it's like AJ is having a hard time remembering that night. Claire, I think she said something about they were in a hotel room and they had a few drinks or whatever. And AJ says he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember anything that happened that night, and he's saying that she's imagining all of it. And then she takes out some photos of the two of them in bed making out and all sorts of bullshit. And then she said that went on all night, and then she just like give him the photos, and so she tells him to think about it and examine the photos, just study the photos carefully and see if he can remember or whatever. Really terrible storyline. Like I said, I'm way past sick of this story right now. Just end it. It doesn't make any sense. It's like AJ knocks up this whatever, this skank or whatever, and it's just like he doesn't remember what happened. And it's like, how the hell does Daniels know all about this? Whatever. Oh man. So then anyway, then we go to break back from that. They just show AJ Styles backstage looking at the photos, all like upset and confused. So then RVD comes to the ring, and he says it's great that he's part of Open Fight Night because he feels like fighting, and he says he wants to kick the crap out of Daniels. So Christopher Daniels comes out, and we get Van Dam and Daniels. Daniels got the pin with his foot on the rope, so he got 7 more points. I think this was good too. Rob Van Dam went for the Rolling Thunder. It took a little bit too long, and so as he went for the Rolling Thunder, went for the splash part, Daniels got out of the way. They were up with the ropes. Daniels pinned him, put his foot on the rope, got the 3 count, and that was it. Then we go to Austin Aries backstage. The camera guy asks for his reaction to Rude calling him a fluke. Austin Aries mentions that the way Bobby Roode retained the title at Lockdown against James Storm when Storm super kicked him out and Roode fell out the door, he said that Roode winning that match was a fluke. Austin Aries, he says that Austin Aries saying that him winning with the Brainbuster, with the clean pin wasn't a fluke, and he said that he pretty much trumps Roode at everything, with his threads and his attire and this and that. And he's saying that he picks up his entrance cape, and then the aces and eights cards fall out of it, and he picks up the cards, and he says that Austin Aries says that he trumps the aces and eights guys too. So good Austin Aries promo. The guy's really good. I'm glad they put the belt on him. So then we go to Tenay and Taz, the commentary booth. They're on the phone with Brooke Hogan. I was dreading this. Brooke says that it's like she's Hulk's been taking surgery. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't want to talk about it or whatever. And just Taz just wishes Hulk a quick recovery. And that was it. Wasted segment, but thankfully short. Thank God they didn't go overboard with Brooke saying just being on the show. It was like oh yeah, we don't know what happened. Whatever. I don't know. It's whatever. I don't remember. So then Joseph Parker's backstage with Garrett Bischoff. He offers Garrett his services. Garrett asks about the match Joseph had last week with Bully Ray. Joseph said he might have come up on the short end of the stick, but he still stood up for himself. And Garrett said he wasn't talking about the match. He was talking about the look in Joseph's eyes. The look on his face afterwards when he bled and he gave Bubba the black hole slam like it was a different guy. It's like the whole like, hey, you were a different guy out there afterwards. So Joseph Parker no-sold the comment and walked off. I was okay for what it was. I don't know if they're gonna do like a whole thing where like Abyss, Chris Parker, whatever it is, has got like the split personality and he's the same person and he doesn't know it or whatever, kind of like a Two-Face thing. I don't know what they're gonna do. So then they showed the final 2 Bound for Glory series contestants who hadn't been called out, Magnus and Bully Ray. They were face to face backstage. So since they were the last 2, they face each other next. So Magnus walks to the ring, Ray hits him from behind, Magnus fights back, rams Bubba into the guardrail, the steel steps, and then they get in the ring, and then we have the match. This was good too, actually. Bubba got the Bubba Cutter, or whatever they call it in TNA, so he got 7 points, and he's finally on the board. And then speaking of the Bound for Glory board stats, they go back, they show that, and Samoa Joe's back in the lead again now, after beating the Pope. Then they show a video package promoting the next week's debut, Chavo Guerrero Jr. So he'll be debuting next week, which is cool, because I actually watched Ring of King, and he was really good there. He teamed with Harry Smith or D.H. Smith, Bulldog Hart, whatever the hell you want to call him. Maybe they'll bring him in next too. I don't know, but they should bring Sanjay back in. I want to see I'd like to see Chavo versus Sanjay in a series of matches. That'd be really good. So then Bobby Roode comes out to the ring. It's main event time. He's on the stage, he's got the mic, and he just says, one word, fluke! And then he says, as promised, he's calling out Austin Aries. So then we go to break again. Back to break, Rude is in the ring, and he says he's not waiting any longer or whatever. He says the Aries win over him was nothing but a fluke, and the whole world knows it, and he tells Aries to come out. So then Austin Aries comes out, we get Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode. The match was good, the Ace and Eights guys came out again, attacked Austin Aries, so technically I guess Austin Aries won by DQ, because they attacked him first. And then they threw him in the ring, they continued beating Austin Aries down as Roode was watching. And the whole story here was, it's like everyone thought it was like, Bobby Roode is behind the whole thing, it's like they're working for him. So he's sitting in the corner, and he's watching them beat down Aries. And then they turn their attention to Roode, and he applauds them, this and that, and he offers his hand to one of them. And then the guy kicks him in the gut, and then they beat down him too. And so then they beat down Roode also, and then so the show ends with with this gang beating down both Roode and Aries, and that ended the show. I thought it was good, I actually thought both the match and the attack was good, obviously, Bobby Roode being the guy behind the Aces and Eights thing, since they were saying it all night and hinting at it. It's like you knew that wasn't going to happen. I actually read that, it's like on the Twitter, or Twitter as Bubba called it. One of the guys is actually, it's Luke Gallows. I think the other one is Jay Briscoe's son, Wes. I forget who else is in there, but on their Twitter account or whatever, names that have been on there are Jeff Jarrett and D'Lo Brown. So this could be a way of saying, I read on PW Insider that don't quote me on on it, but that maybe this is a Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's the guy behind all this. Since he was like kind of snubbed or put out, taken out of power or whatever a while back. So this could be his way. This could be this could be a Jeff Jarrett stable. I hope it is. Because when I first saw it, I thought, oh my God, Eric Bischoff's going to make his return, and the show's going to start tanking again. But I don't know. Hopefully it's going to be Jarrett and not Sleazy E. So Jeff Jarrett with some kind of a faction or whatever, I'd be cool with that, So, like I say, I thought overall this week's show was really good. A lot of good match on the show. Anderson, AJ, tremendous match. I really liked it. The whole thing with AJ and Claire and the whole thing, that sucks. Joe Pope was solid. I thought RVD Daniels and Magnus and Bubba had good matches. And like I said earlier, I like what they're doing with the Aces and Eights crew. Just like having them come out, randomly, and then coming out during the gut check segment, I thought was unexpected. So I thought that was a good idea. That was good. I think so far the storyline has been kind of intriguing for me. It's been intriguing for me. And like I said before, I think it's because it's like the guys are masked and we don't really know who we don't know who they are. It's not like Main Event Mafia where it's like, okay, all the old guys are pissed off at the young guys and doing this and that. Or it's not Immortal, with all that. It's not like guys. It's not like guys who are in the NWO or who are around or whatever. It's like they're not trying to really like. It's kind of like redoing the whole NWO thing, but they actually have the more of a mystery aspect to it since they're all masked and they come out at any time. Because it's like with the Main Event Mafia and Immortal, it's like okay, you knew when they were going to come out and all that shit, and that didn't work. This I think so far has been working overall. We'll see where it goes. So that'll pretty much do for me right now. I'm hoping to see SmackDown a little later on, and I'll hopefully be back with a video recap of that later today. I hope. So until then, maybe later on, whenever I get a chance to seeing SmackDown, and I'm making a video of that, you can check out TonyViz.blogspot.com, where I have the in-depth recap of all the shows. Subscribe to my channel, The Tone 4L. You can add me as a contact, leave me some feedback. I'd appreciate that. And thanks to those of you who have added me as contacts and shared videos with me and everything. That's really cool that it's really cool that you're taking time to share stuff with me. I really appreciate it. So until either later or over the weekend whenever I get to see SmackDown. This is Tony Visitone signing off right now. Take care, everybody, and I'll be back with SmackDown.